Hello, good afternoon, Kevin. How are you, mate?
Good afternoon, Jason. Yeah, very pleased to be with you.
Thank you ever so much. So thank you. I'm delighted to say that that you're joining us today for the latest in our cutting edge podcasts. These podcasts have been going on for probably a couple of months now, and so we're inviting in some of the partners that we work with, manufacturers of the digital sort of hard engines in the digital space, as well as some of the manufacturers of the finishing kit, software solutions, leasing companies, all those sorts of things. And we're trying to sort of educate and bring our clients up to and prospects up to speed with kind of some of the things that differentiate each and every one of those. So obviously a bit of a clue probably in the background as to where you're joining us from today, Kevin. I've known you for many years. My background was working for initially joining this industry, fresh out of university, living and born and bred in Uxbridge, and ended up at Xerox, and then 25 years later I'm still involved. I'm sure that most of our guests, viewers, listeners will also recognize you, somebody who's instantly recognizable in this industry, mate. But if you could just, for any of those who don't know, perhaps just introduce yourself and what it is that you do for Xerox.
Yeah, sure. So Kevin O'Donnell, I head up marketing for production systems and graphic communications for the UK and Ireland.
Perfect. Thanks ever so much, Kevin. Now, we had a brief conversation before doing the podcast around what it is and that you'd like to talk about in terms of where you feel that the Xerox really do differentiate themselves and stand out from the rest of their competition in this space. And one of the things that you wanted to discuss, and I'll leave you to kind of elaborate on that somewhat, is the latest in terms of the value proposition that Xerox have brought to market. Now, I remember the value propositions from many years ago and the evolution of this and Xerox's route to market. We go back to the 3Rs, when it was with regards to the right business model, the right workflow, and then the right technology. But today it is very different. We live in a different world. And so, do you want to kind of discuss where Xerox see that world right now?
Yeah, sure. And by the way, the 3Rs still ring true.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It is about getting the right understanding of your business model. Making sure you know who you are, who your customers are, who your market is. The values that you can bring to that, the growth opportunities and so forth. And if you know those, then decisions around technology and investments become a little bit easier. But certainly the marketplace has evolved significantly over the last few years. And, whilst, the press is still a key center to the hub of all print-centric businesses, it's the heartbeat of print businesses. The changes in the market, changes in technology, and the fast development of new technologies gives print businesses a great opportunity to align with those and to build a platform into a profitable future.
Yep. So in terms of things that sit around that all-encompassing, we're talking about the right engine. Just open up a little bit more about what we mean when we talk about the ecosystem.
Well, as I say, the ecosystem is, there's a saying, no man is an island, and no press is an island either. And it's about exploring the hinterland of the press, looking for opportunities, looking for efficiencies, looking for effectiveness within campaigns that people are running on behalf of their clients. And I think my start point probably would be the clients and the external market. We've seen massive changes in the last few years to the way in which people live, people operate, people interact. And as a service industry, print needs to carry on doing the fantastic things that it does, but also keep an eye out into aligning what's happening. So key changes, things like technology. Again, not the advances in press technology, but it's the external ones. Things like AI, things like have high levels of automation. High levels of data that businesses can now tap into and use to drive their business, not just use as a burden. Use the data, use the information, use the insight to drive decisions. There's also change in demographic,
Yep.
and you sort of think about the makeup of people at work at the moment. The difference in generations and the expectations has never been greater. And of course, the way in which people work, people work from home, people work in an
Yep.
office, people work mobile, people work different times of the day, different days of the week,
Yep.
different locations. Now local generally can be global as well, and global can be local. So again,
Yep.
as a service industry, we look to drive value for our customers, and if we can do that, then our customers, the print businesses, can drive value on the back of that to their customers as well.
Yep.
So the approach that we've taken, and by the way, Jason, we've done this for many years.
Yeah.
I think perhaps it just didn't have the label on it, but we view this as an ecosystem, as I say, really stretching out from the press into other areas of a printer's business and setup, but also then stretching out even further into aspects of his client and his client's client even as well. So
Yeah.
we sort of focus on key areas,
Mm.
and even in their own way, they stand on their own 2 feet. So we've mentioned the press. Xerox have a very broad range of digital presses. Really well accepted in the marketplace, and and the listeners will know as well. It's not just the pages per minute these days. It's not just the quality. It starts to stretch out into these new technologies, the automation that's built into the press, the way in which the press manages itself, the way in which the technology has been specifically designed and engineered to make sure that every page that's printed is saleable, and every page that's printed is controlled automatically through the production process. So we have inbuilt technologies. You will know them very well, and we continue to add to those capabilities. So, for example, we ran an event last week, and
Saw you
we're
there.
very pleased to launch out a capability that broadens the gamut of an existing toner. So we use on the Iridescent press the fluorescent pink, and we use technology. And with the push of one button, we significantly broaden the gamut that's achievable. In the past, that would have probably meant another investment into another press. We look to enhance people's investments into press. So on press automation, and also sort of growth within the invested device is very key to us. We also know that if printers are going to survive and more importantly thrive in today's market, automation needs to stretch also away from the press and into the workflow. So touchless printing, we'll say, this, every time someone touches print with a human hand,
There's
start
an
to lose
opportunity
money.
that's right.
You start to lose money. And we have product there which interacts, connects, and integrates, by the way, into third-party workflows and MIS systems to really drive that automation through. And automation should be not just a goal, it should be a reality. It's available. It's not available. Well, it will be available tomorrow, but the capabilities are absolutely available today. They're available to large print operations, medium print operations, and personally, I think a great opportunity is in the smaller, more dynamic SMEs that are out there producing print.
I totally agree with you, Kevin. And you touched on a few things which really highlight that. So the demographics that you mentioned earlier in terms of the generations, a lot of these print businesses are family led, some in the commercial space. You've got so traditional litho printers who perhaps the business is now in the hands of the son or another family member, passed on to somebody who far more have embraced that digital world. Now when we go back and talk about automation, I think it kind of sits into three sort of categories, if you like. There's the pre-press automation, there's that on the press automation, and then how we integrate, like you say, sort of post-press with perhaps the finishing partners or solutions or what have you. And I think, and I don't like to keep referring back to it, but I think that's been more prominent since COVID. We had many of those small businesses whereby business owner was having to do some of those things potentially himself, and he noticed and he's seen that the automation made his life an awful lot easier. And I think this is a real big opportunity for those digital printers to look at how they can add value back into what they're doing. I was at the event last week. One of the things I wanted to touch on with you, and I'd invite, and contact details will be shared at the end, but I would definitely recommend anybody who hasn't been to the Xerox Innovation Centre to arrange to do so, to get up to speed with the latest technology. And we start looking at, you mentioned about the fluorescent pink enabling the color gamut to extend significantly. I've seen the samples. We've seen the samples, the ability to hit that 021 orange, some of the deep purples, reds, all those sorts of things. It really is second to none, and other embellishments. And so yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend people coming down to see it. Now, one of the things that people often say to me when I'm talking about this, and we discuss CMYK, YK Plus, etc., is great idea, love the samples, but it's not a market that I'm playing in at the moment. It's an expensive investment to then go and chase that market. Now, would you say, are there any sort of tools and things that Xerox help with those clients if and when they were to invest in that type of technology?
Yeah, sure, and it's a good question. Just being a press manufacturer, but also just supplying a press is only one step in the journey. We have a whole range of tools and initiatives specifically designed to support printers trying to look for new value, new profits, new revenue, and new markets as well. So the umbrella we give is the Genesis initiative. So if I just take one aspect of that, which is around our beyond CMYK, so devices that produce CMYK, but also then produce metallics or fluorescents or clears or whites. There's a little bit of a learning curve, a little bit of a journey that print businesses investing need to think about. And the Genesis program is really specifically designed to provide design tools, to provide swatches for designers, to provide engagement tools for agencies, design companies, in-house design companies, to brands as well. Because if the specifiers of print and the designers of print are unaware of the capability, then they're not going to be building that into the campaigns, into their product launches. And we know, we run events specifically targeted at those communities, and we absolutely know, Jason, that as soon as you show what's possible and the ease of access, the economics of producing it, and then provide the tools as well. And by the way, we very much encourage printers to provide the tools under their own umbrella, not necessarily from Xerox. We'll it's that sort of adage, we'll teach you how to fish rather than supply fish. The feedback is just amazing. The first word I ever heard around our Irides press was wow, look at that. And that's still the case. But we need to be taking that message, that capability, that opportunity to the designers, the agencies, and the brands, because they are impressed, and they're not coming directly to our industry necessarily looking for solutions. We do have to meet them. At least we have to meet them halfway, or even the full way. So the Genesis program, as well as design tools, covers sales and marketing, event management. And,
there's a pricing tool even in there, isn't there, that helps with how to price and cost and everything else. It's excellent. I mean, I've got clients of mine that have got Irides, and have used it. Can't speak highly enough of it. It definitely helps with the clients. And so again, this is kind of pointing out the partnership, that there are those tools there.
And you touch on, Jason, you touched earlier on about automation, workflow automation, but we also see automation in the marketing sense as well. So we drive solutions that connect not just internally within a print factory or a print operation, but externally as well. So e-commerce solutions that drive variable content, cross-media content, omni-channel content, the sort of campaign tools and campaign delivery that is not restricted just to print, but goes down the routes of different channels. Because if you are engaging a brand, these days they run pretty lean. They're looking for people who can provide multiple solutions and multiple services. And why shouldn't a print-centric business become a marketing services business, a print services business, and provide and get a little bit more of the pocket spend of these brands and companies that are out there? They're looking for solutions. We have the solutions, and it's about putting the two together. They don't happen, by the way. They don't happen by accident. They happen through choice. They happen through a little bit of work, a little bit of focus, a little bit of direction. Going back to the first R of the three R's. That if your business model is driving you there, then Xerox have the tools and the support and the presses that that will give you the tools for the job.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that leads quite nicely on to what I wanted to say towards the end of the podcast, and that was to open up the invitation for people to come along to the Innovation Centre based in Uxbridge. It's easily accessible. It's accessible for anybody that's in the UK in particular. We've got people that are travelling from overseas that come in as well. It's a fantastic premises, a fantastic site. All of the digital production solutions are there. And that coming together, like you mentioned, with the clients and with the suppliers of the equipment, it's a great opportunity to do that. It's very new. It was only opened at the start of COVID, wasn't it? About a month before. So all of my contact details will be shared at the end, and I'd invite anybody along. Is there anything specific that you'd like to sort of add to that?
Well, just building on that, Jason, or just to comment on the back of that as well. Look, in today's market, there are many suppliers that can offer you a digital press. Get rated on sort of speed and quality and those sort of things. It can be rather confusing. They, on the face of it, they all sort of look much the same. In today's market, and maybe I'm not the best person to sell to. I always believe seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. Show me. You talk about all these things, all these capabilities, on the podcast. They're just words. They're just words. Engage, come along. We'll show you. And if we can't show you, then I'll get my backside kicked. But we can. Everything I've said, and by the way, there are a whole host more that will make you hopefully say, "Wow." Seeing is believing. And the Xerox IC is a great place to come along and see it.
Perfect, brilliant. Thanks ever so much for that, Kevin, and for joining us. Is there anything else before we go? You'd like to share at all, mate? Quite happy with that?
Well, I was going to say the other aspect. Again, I mentioned on press. We've mentioned workflow. We've mentioned marketing automation. Don't forget to test on infrastructure as well. Make sure that businesses or the potential suppliers using the latest technologies. At Xerox, for service, for instance, we use remote desk, self-help, augmented reality. To make sure that presses are up and running to the optimum point. And two other things on the horizon, well, not on the horizon, but that businesses do need to think about. And the reason they need to think about this is because their customers are thinking about this. One is security. I mentioned earlier on the amount of data that's going floating around in the world. Make sure that a supplier is also looking after you from a data security perspective. Yeah, oh, we don't do data. You do. It's on your front end.
Yeah,
It's going through the veins of your business. And of course, the other one, which again, I'm sure each and every listener will be very well connected with, is sustainability.
absolutely.
Use
Yeah,
sustainability as a tool. Clearly we all want a greener and more sustainable environment, and Xerox lead the market in that aspect. But also, look and see how sustainability can also add to your value when you engage your customers, because you can answer a lot of the questions that they're asking in their communication strategy. So, Jason, thank you very much.
thank you, Kevin. Thanks ever so much. It was good to see you last week, mate, and no doubt I'll see you again soon at the IC. Hopefully, with someone who's listened to this.
Take care.
All the best, mate. Thank you very much. Bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.